Hey, anybody else was just kind of nervous when Scott's note fell to the ground? I was like right up there, and I was like, do I jump on the stage? It was like, no, security would take me down. We'll not do that. I don't want to go down now. And it's like, do I walk around the side? It's like, no, I'm not going to walk around the side. So I was just like nervous the whole time he was speaking when he looked down, because if you've ever spoken, you know what that's like. But it's just so cool to be together on not only just the last Sunday of the year, but the last Sunday of the decade. We get to be together right now. It's our last Sunday. And if you've been around Praise, you know that we reserve this Sunday to look back, just like we did, but also to look forward. How many know that what the devil meant to harm you this past year, God turned around for your good, that you can have a story right now, a story in your marriage, a story in your health, a story in your finances, that you are here now. And what he's done in your past, his faithfulness, is to help you go forward into 2020, to know that your faithful God in 2019 will be faithful in 2020. Amen? So, just so good to be together. And let's just talk. How about Christmas Eve service? Was that phenomenal? How many were here for Christmas Eve? Let me see your hand. That was one of my most favorite, and I don't just say that, it was one of my most favorite Christmas Eve services that we've ever done. And here's why. Not just because the music was incredible and excellent done, and the placement of it, but our team, our creative and worship team, championed Jesus and allowed us to celebrate the good news of great joy for all people. And man, the worship was phenomenal. And I was so grateful for that. And I'm grateful to have that, because I had kind of an off year this year for Christmas, just kind of like an off giving year. Anybody ever just miss it on giving gifts? Anybody? Like you give gifts for a year and it's like it falls flat. And I love to give gifts. I love to do pranks on my Christmas giving. I love, instead of just the wrapping paper on the right side, I like to turn it upside down, inside out, and I like to draw pictures, caricatures. I can't draw, but that's why it makes it so funny during when we open gifts. I like to do little personal notes. I like to do funny stuff on it. And I thought, man, what could I do? And, I do these pranks. And it's like, 6 months ago, my nephew gave me about 10 shirts, like 10 nice sporting shirts, like Nike, dry fit, reflective running shirts. And the reason why he gave me those 6 months ago is because he works out religiously, and he's out muscling his shirts. His biceps and his shoulders are getting bigger. And he knew that his favorite uncle is not out muscling his shirts. And by the way, I'll see you in the gym I go on January through February. I take a break for March and April, man. I may go back in June because summer's coming up. But he gave his favorite uncle his shirts. And I was looking in my closet because I had bought him, he wanted a gift card. He just graduated as a nurse, and he's got he's going to be a nurse at Baptist Hospital. And then I bought him these fake mustaches because I thought, he's young. And he's going to be a nurse. He's going in the rooms. He needs some little credibility, so he can just put on one of these mustaches when he goes in the room to take care of his patients. But I looked at the box, and the box was empty. I was like, it needs something. Then I was like, I got a great idea. I'm going to take one of the shirts that he gave me. I'm going to fold it up, and I'm going to give it back to him just to see if he recognizes that it's his shirt. And, that awkward moment, like, oh, thank you. What I do. And so he opened the gift. He got the mustaches. Ha, that was real funny, Reg, Uncle Reg, whatever. And then he looked at the gift certificate. He's like, thank you so much. And then he looked at the shirt, and he picked the shirt up, and he held it up. And he was like, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking, he doesn't know it's his shirt. This is so funny. And he likes his shirt. I can tell. I see the glimmer in his eye. He likes the shirt. And then he looks at me, he's like, why are y'all laughing? I said, that was your shirt. That's the shirt you gave me. He said, no, it's not. I was like, oh no. I gave him a shirt that I bought me a year ago for a ski trip. It was a nice shirt. And he likes it. I'm like, Caleb, you got to give it back. It's like I was off. And then not only was I off on my pranks, on my gag gifts, but I was off on my serious gifts because my wife wanted a couple gifts, went to her Amazon wish list. I looked at it. She wanted these sweatpants and she wanted me to buy it local so she could return it for some reason. And she wanted to have a stripe down it. And, I looked at that and she wanted these Crocs, got the fur, fuzzy stuff on the inside of it. And I hate Crocs. She likes Crocs. It's either you like Crocs or you don't like Crocs. There's nobody in the middle. And so, okay, that's what she wants. I got her that. And she opens up the gifts and she picks up the pants and everybody in the room starts laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? They said it's a small. I said, yeah, she put a small. I got her wish list. I said she wanted a small. They said, no, Reggie, it's a kid's small. Came up to her knees. It's like knickers, right? I'm like, oh, man, I'm just having a bad year. And then she opens up her Crocs, and it's the right size, but in the wrong country. And I think it was like, I don't even know what country. It's like U.S. and then some other country. And I got the right size, but the Crocs were like that big. So if y'all see my wife coming to church today in like knickers and big clown shoes, well, so I'm so happy, so grateful that we had a really good Christmas Eve service. But just as Scott did a reflection on 2019, let me just for a moment share with you what's coming up in 2020, because I want you to know the growing opportunities that's presented not only for you, but for everybody. Everything's on the calendar, everything is intentional, and everything is designed to help you grow and to help us as a church make a difference. So we're going to start the new year around the scripture, Hebrews 12:2. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and the perfecter of our faith, who for the joy before him endured the cross, scorning his shame. But let us fix our eyes on Jesus. And we're going to we're calling it the focused follower. So for 4 weeks, we're going to look at what it's like to be a focused follower, not just to start the year, but how do we end the year being a focused follower, which means that we have to talk about distractions. So what are those things, and how are we going to navigate through the entire year, and so that we can be this disciple all year long, not be distracted? That starts next week. We'll go for 4 weeks. Growth Track always happens the first 2 weeks of every month. That's where you can get the vision. That's your best place to start at Praise Church. Small group semester starts January the 19th. That'll run through May the 10th. Then February, super excited about starting this series. We're just going to take the Gospel of John and we're going to read through it verse by verse. And that's going to lead up all the way to Easter. So we're going to take the Bible, we're going to read, I'm going to teach as best I can in an expositional style, and we're just going to dive into Scripture. Praise Youth has winter retreat, February the 14th through the 16th. We have baptism on March, PYA, Praise Young Adults, generational retreat or Kingdom Gen retreats on March 13th. If gathering, anybody, the if gathering for the ladies, March the 27th and 28th. Then we follow that up with Easter on the 12th. 2 weeks later, we're doing Servolution. We're going out and serving our community. Then we're going on an exploration trip, June 7th through 9th to Honduras. That's a small group of people. We're going to visit the children and visit the pastors and the people who are investing so that we can build a greater relationship, learn how we can serve them better. Then the praise camps start, the summer camps for youth start. The day camp starts on June 24th. Praise Kids Away Camp for the older kids, July 14th. J-High and Senior High camps in July. August, we start small group semester 2 again. And then in August, and I want you to know about this because we're going to try, this is not for sure, but we're working on it right now, trying to plan for an apologetic conference that will happen right here at Praise Church in August. It would happen on a Friday night. Yeah, and if you don't know what apologetics is, it's teaching us how to defend our faith. Not only how we, like those hard topics that we all wrestle with, let's talk about it. And let's learn how to explain it. Not only know it, but when we're having conversation with people at work or our family members, how can we explain it? So we want to bring in some of the top apologists in the country to come right in here. Now we have enough seats to host something like this. Let them teach us on a keynote session on Friday night, all day Saturday, and bring them back on Sunday to train us up. That would be in August, if we can pull that off. Then we have baptism, servolutions, next-gen big events like Color Party, Bonfire, Black and White Night. We're going to the Blessed Beyond series again in November. And then here we are. We'll be back at Christmas 2020. And before long, we will be sitting here again, but we'll be talking about another year. Every year we say that. Every year we'll say, I cannot believe how fast, this year has gone by. And here's what I want you to ask yourself today. Right? I know we've given a lot of information, a lot of stats, but I want to leave you some. What will your heart be like 1 year from today? What will your relationship with Christ be like 1 year from today? Are we going to be looking at growth and transformation? Or you're going to look at stagnation or distraction? Because it's not uncommon for people they'll think, the year's changing. It's going to be a better year. Common media posts, you're going to see it in the next few days, and it's going to say things like this. Glad 2019 is coming to an end. It was so hard. I can't wait for 2020. And it's like we think sometimes that just because the year is changing, that life is going to change. But life is not going to change. You know what it's going to bring? It's going to bring disappointment and elation. It's going to bring motivation and challenge. Challenge of finding that motivation. It's going to bring relational conflict and relational warmth. Something is going to break and something is going to be new. It's going to be easy and it's going to be hard. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry. You're going to be criticized, you're going to be affirmed. You're probably going to lose a few pounds, you're probably going to gain them back. This is just how it goes. And we know that life happens. I just want to take a realistic approach to this. And say, okay, as life happens, what's going to happen inside of me? Because there's a lot of things that happen this year that you can't control, you didn't cause. And there's a lot of things that's going to happen this year that you're not going to control. But what can remain a constant is how well you stay connected to Jesus, or what we say around here, how well you stay connected to the vine. Staying connected to the vine is the very thing that will keep fruit happening or keep you being productive or fruitful in all things. So what happens to you is going to change. Your connection to the vine will determine what your soul, your spirit is going to be like through all of life. Success, don't let success take you away. Connection to the vine. Don't let disappointment, frustration, criticism move you away from God. Connection to the vine. Whatever life happens, connecting to the vine, because it says if you're connected to the vine, there will be fruit. I mean, this is how Jesus put it. He said, I'm the vine, you're the branches. My Father is the vine dresser or the gardener. And he said, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Now, you've heard this before. It's important that we always come and look at this. Like when I look at an object, it's nice to have two eyes because they're looking at the very same thing, but because I have two different perspectives, I have a little bit of depth perception to this. And when we look at a scripture, we need to keep looking at it and keep looking at it so we can have some depth perception to the life-giving scripture that Jesus taught us. So, who's the vine? Who's the vine? Jesus. Who's the gardener? God. Vine dresser, the gardener. Who's the branches? Just hanging out, right? We're the branches. And it says fruit. It mentions fruit in there. And fruit would be any outcome, any thought that we have, anything that comes out of our mouth, any attitude, any emotion, any feeling that we have, anything that's produced within us. And he goes on to say this. Abide in me. That means connect in me. And I in you. As a branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine. I mean, how many times do I have to read this to understand? I start my mornings disconnected. I live my day disconnected. I can have no fruit. My greatest responsibility is not to push out fruit, but to connect to the vine.
Abide in me and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, he says, neither can you unless you abide in me. He repeats it, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. But then he says, apart from me, you can do what? You can do no thing. You can do nothing. And we go, oh, that's so counterintuitive. We know that. If we go and see a tree and a branch is disconnected from the tree or hanging from the tree or on the side of the street, we know that branch is never going to produce green leaves anymore, any fruit, anything else, because it's disconnected from its source. And Jesus, as an incredible teacher that he is, takes this perspective. And he says, you're the branches, I'm the vine. Abide in me. And if you will stay connected to me, you're going to produce fruit. Through what season? It doesn't matter. Hurricane season, winds come, you'll produce fruit. Summer, hot, you'll produce fruit. Cold, you'll produce fruit. I'm just saying, whatever happens through through this year, if you stay connected, it may not be exactly how you plan things to go, but you'll produce fruit. And here's what we're taught to do, though. We're taught to kind of work on the other end of the branch that produces fruit. Right? Someone in your life right now difficult to love. You wake up and you think, I got to love them. How can I love them? I got to be nice to them. You're pushing out fruit, working so hard to do it. And that's what we're taught. How do I push out love? How do I push out kindness and joy? That's the fruit of the Spirit. And what Jesus is saying, he says, instead of trying to push out fruit on this end of the branch, go to the end of the branch and just make sure that you're connected. Because if you are connected to me, what is in me will flow through you and will naturally push out fruit. Or you can say, how in the world could I have joy in this situation right now? And everybody will look at you and you should be depressed. You should be anxious. You shouldn't have peace. Well, I'm not trying to work on peace, even though that's what I want, but where my effort is to make sure every day, all day, that I'm connected. I see a big God. I'm listening, I'm talking in my mind about who God is. Because if we're pushing out fruit, listen, if we're trying to work so hard on fruit, but our branch is cracked and it's on the ground, it doesn't matter how hard you try. You don't have it in you. Because they don't deserve your love because they did you wrong. Or this situation robbed you of a relationship. And all that stuff, logically, there's no reason for us to be happy. There's no reason to love. So what he says is, go back. If you're gonna put your effort anywhere, if you're gonna put your focus somewhere, do it on the connection point, on working on being connected to the vine. We could talk about how do you, it helps me every day. This helps me every year. But we could talk about how do you handle your anger? We could talk about how do you handle your stress right now? We could talk about 1,000 different things and work out how do we have peace and love in those moments. Or we could do this. Or we could say, can we just talk about how to connect to the vine? Because Jesus said, if I connect to the vine, it doesn't matter what I go through. I'm going to be fruitful and I'm going to be productive. Instead of working on producing fruit, we want to produce fruit, but instead of putting the effort there, let's put the effort on the other end of the branch where it connects to the vine. Now, I want to explain it one other way, just hopefully that it will stick with you, and that's possibly through. Well, before I do that, let me share a quote that I missed. I was getting all excited. Let me find that quote because it's by Andrew Murray. He said, "However strong the branches become, however far away it reaches round the home, out of sight, out of the vine, all of its beauty and all of its fruitfulness ever depend upon that one point of contact where it grows out of the vine. So be it with you. So be it with you." So to help it stick, I want to bring out a vacuum cleaner. I want to show you a vacuum cleaner. If I could get that brought out. There we go. Thank you, Jake. All right, so let me connect this to a power source.
so that it will actually work. Because how many knows if you're not connected, you're not going to be fruitful? If you're not connected, you're not going to produce what you're trying to do, even though you've got great intentions, is not going to happen, right? So I always want to connect to the power source so that, and also, you got to have a little music when you little Kanye. So, how many ever dance with your vacuum cleaner? Anybody? You should never do that. But here I am. It's like wanting to get the dirt off the floor. You know, I've got a goal in mind. I want to get something done. I want to be productive. But how many of you have ever been vacuuming and you pulled the cord out of the wall? Anybody? You know, it's like, I'm just going to pull it here. Let's just say that this happens in life. You disconnect, but because you're distracted, you still keep trying to vacuum. Huh? Anybody ever done that? No, in life, but not vacuum. If I just do this, I could do this for 30 minutes. I could do this all day. And Shannon's going to come home and she says, what in the world have you done? I said, I vacuumed the house. Look how hard I work. She said, no, you're not. And the reason why, just to get this stick in her mind, it's because I was disconnected from my power source. This coming year, you got great intentions. I got great intentions. I want to get something done. I want to be a more loving father. I don't want to act out on my anger. I want to have a better attitude. I want to be a better leader. I want to have self-control. I want to have patience. That's all the fruit of the Spirit. But if I'm not connected, it does not matter how hard I work, how much self-will I can muster up. I just don't have it in me. Just stay connected to the vine. Stay connected to the vine. That's shaping your own path. Shaping your path to make you productive by staying in the vine. For 2,000 years, one of the ways that Christians have helped stay connected is through communion. And we're about to take communion together. Our ushers are going to, you guys having communion now? They're going to pass out the communion to you. As the song is, as our worship team is going to come up and they're going to lead us into worship. But here's the connection point. If I find it difficult to love somebody, but I go back and I reflect, like Jesus said, remember, every time you do this, remember me. Remember this. I remember how much God has loved me. I was like, do I deserve God's love? No. Do they deserve my love? They don't deserve it. So I'm going to experience the love of God over and over and over again so much that it builds up within me that I have something to share.